to Esk8con 2023.
The voice of electric games.
Skate-minded Exway Team Canada. Exway Canada Racing went to Esk8con.
We did. It was our first time racing. First time officially racing as a team.
Yeah, but like just at the beginning setting up a track, trying to replicate it, and finding out that like it was a decent good track.
It was huge. We did not expect it to be that big when we were first setting it up.
What do you think we should do? We got the two corners marked out. There's not much else we can do without...
The street.
Our problem is we only have like 2 hours of daylight after we finish work at that in the wintertime before Esk8con. So like getting ready for this wasn't easy because we only had so much daylight, and then if we were putting, you know, cones down or marks down with paint, whatever it was kind of hard to make everything out. 265. Wow, yeah. No way. Yeah, accuracy. Okay.
We had to buy some more cones.
Yeah.
A lot more cones.
We bought a lot of cones because it's so hard to make a track like of that size just using, you know, 50 cones.
Well, it was a ways down, eh? Oh, hi.
But there were other problems too, like because we weren't racing so much, we weren't getting the practice in that we truly needed to, like, you know, define our craft or like perfect our craft or how our style or how we rode, right? So and the conditions that we were riding in were just, you know, not the same grip. I think the weather on the weekends going up to it was just garbage for a lot of it too.
We are 2 weeks out from Esk8con and it is still snowing here.
The condition of the area in which, you know, we have to practice. We don't have a lot of space, but we do have some space.
Whenever we did practice, it had been just after like a snowstorm and we had like 100 foot of snow. Your battery wouldn't survive the cold either.
We would probably get 5 or 6 laps in, but then we'd have to ride on. I truly should have drove down there. I should have drove down. Would have saved us. But yeah, again, timing, it would have been so much quicker to ride down, so you get more time if you're down there. You know, charge the board while you're setting up the track.
I want grip. That's all I want. I want to be able to trust my grip and just lean hard. We still have more than most though. Like, we managed to put up the track and try it at least 3 or 4 times. A lot of people, when they arrived at Esk8con, that's the first time they ever saw the track.
Yeah.
So we were lucky in that respect that we even...
Yeah, that we put in the effort to figure it out, right? And that was a lot of time and effort, but it was worth it in the end. Yeah, and then, you know, we got to make our way to Esk8con and see what the actual track was and how different ours was, and how we'd have to adjust to their track. So we showed up on the first day of competition, and everyone was like truly setting up. We saw a lot of the booths.
We had Hoyt next to us as well. Jeffrey.
Easy! Oh, get so easy!
The qualifying was great.
He's so low, he's almost touching the ground as he's making his hot lap there.
Yeah, you can see Brett Brownlee getting really low. Sometimes he grabs the side of his board there. As you can see there from the top view, he's grabbing the side of the board and across for putting down his qualifying time.
He's definitely got a unique style, and I tell you, I'm looking forward to seeing him next to others trying to make that work.
All right, just finished our qualifier. Nobody wiped, clean. The objective of the qualifier was not speed, but consistency and cleanliness. I think we nailed it. We're both shaking like crazy monsters here, but yeah, we're making it all happen. We're gonna duck down for the camera here. Big boy fastball. That was hella fun, man. Hella fun. Good job, Karen. Great job, Karen.
We did it. Qualifying.
So we had the group ride that went down the Vegas Strip after qualifying day. We were both exhausted because not only did we have qualifying all day, we were out in the sun, not used to it. A lot of dry, not necessarily heat, but sun. And you got kind of hit on the track.
I did, yes.
How you feeling, Karen? Sore? We got a big group ride tonight. Are you excited for the group ride?
It was after qualifying, and I made the mistake of having one more run.
Just one more, and I was like, all right, be careful. Just make sure you're careful.
Woo! Kaz, how we doing? Yeah.
Les petits splouches en français. Les petits splouches behind you.
Le petit splouche.
Me and Brian had a little tumble together.
Yeah.
And he is an absolutely wonderful person, though.
Yeah.
And he checked up on me afterwards and even messaged me after all of Esk8con to make sure I was okay. But yeah, unfortunately, I really badly injured my knee during that crash. It basically inverted itself. But yeah, when we went on the night rides, the takeover ride, it was rough. He was worried about me because I was limping the entire time.
Well, yeah, but you know, we weren't going too fast. It was actually a great ride.
It was perfect, yeah.
Everyone in these taxis is gonna get hurt up. Oh,
We just cost so much people money. Hidden taxi charges. Security guard's got his hands full tonight. I did not think about that.
Yeah, I got injured, but
It just worked out for you though, because it put you at the top of the novice class, which in qualifying, which going into the heats was kind of nice. You're in a good position in a good class where you weren't being pushed too far out with an injury that you ended up having in open laps.
where did you qualify? What happened with you?
So I went in there. My first lap's always my best. I don't mind hot laps, and I put down a time that was, I thought was like probably 85%, 90% of what I was capable of, not to go too fast, crash, wobble out, do whatever. And I put up a time that was way too good and put me in the pro class.
Yeah.
And there was another Exway rider in there. There was a couple other, there's a Jeffrey Peralta, part of the Hoyt team, was in there, and some others. Not to say that we didn't deserve to be there, but if, you know, you're going to divide the classes up evenly, that's naturally just the way it's going to be. Plugging the boards. Let's get it ready. We found out what heats we were a part of. Figured out who we were racing with. Got to business.
The heat started with the novices.
Here we go. Here we go. The wheels are turning.
Rolling start. Novice class, Group C, heat number 1.
I didn't get the best of starts because I got confused by the flag drop. Someone mentioned that you had to wait for the flag to go up and then back down again. Wasn't the case, it was just up. But it was so fun having other people on the track with you and racing.
I was on the sidelines just like screaming at you, just like, yo, you got it, you got it.
Don't worry behind you. Don't worry. You're good. You're good.
Like, and at times, like, my camera just like went away and I like forgot to film. Oh, I'm sorry. I think you just stayed true the whole way through and held your place for the most part.
I was hopped up on Advil as well, so...
Yeah, you also didn't want to push your leg too much, so your stance was very, very Morgan Brady in the stance.
Upright.
Yeah, but your final placement in the first heat,
4th.
and then in the second heat,
Yeah,
6th.
that was 6th, yeah. 4th and 6th. So,
It would have been 4th and 4th, that would have been cool.
yeah.
And that would have changed and put you into the finals.
Yes, I missed the finals by 2 places, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it was a tie. There was so 15th was a tie between I think 3 or 4 of us, which was 2 places out from finals. I got 15th because my qualifying time was faster than everyone else below me. So yeah.
Well,
Fast racers. All of these racers in the pro class are fast.
started in the very first heat, I believe I was in position 4, and Mario was in position 2, right in front of me on the inside corner. Started off the race on the inside, tucked in, tilted the board. I was right behind Mario. Zach was on the inside of that upcoming corner, but I was tucked that entire time just to keep the board nice and stable as we were making our way into that first corner. And then I was right behind Mario going into the first corner, and suddenly my board wasn't underneath me.
Green flag, and they're off.
And then suddenly I was on the ground. I wasn't going to let it stop me though. I got up right away, got my board, got on, jumped up, and tried to keep pace. But the second I hit that ground, the adrenaline started running. I couldn't keep, like, everything was shaking. I just needed to breathe. And I think that's the biggest point that's going to come through, because you were on the sidelines, even in my second heat, telling me to breathe.
I could see that you were like shaking and trying to deal with the fact you just had a massive crash. I was like, calm, Brett, calm.
Intro the speed racers. They're wheel to wheel. Wheel to wheel. They're right behind each other. They know each other's.
And I think, you know, I slid out one time during that race again in my first heat, and it was just so slow. I ended up being the last one to cross the line, but I made sure, like, I'm crossing the line, I'm gonna finish this, I'm not gonna walk away from this. In my second heat, same thing. I was, I think, the 6th position, so another row back, and I was in such a great position. I got to the second last turn before the start finish, but I was in the same heat as Jeffrey Peralta, who in the crash in the previous heat bent his trucks and something wasn't right with his board. He went into the corner on the second heat with us, the second last corner. He went to dive on my inside to try to get me on the inside. Couldn't quite finish his turn because something wasn't right with his board. His board started going more straight than turn. And I tried to avoid him, and I went up over the barrier just a little bit, but I had to get off my board because I was going to crush barrier and eat barrier and go flying forward and then have to deal with my board inside a barrier. So I wasn't riding on top of that. So that was frustrating. And then from that point on, it was listening to you on the sideline screaming Kong, and, you know, me previously spinning out 3 corners before that and going, yes, I should have been Kong. But yeah, same thing with the second heat, across the finish line. Although, if the records are released from Esk8con, it shows I did have a DNF. Insert me crossing the line both times.
Angeles, California. He's riding on a DIY finals. Who you
good.
got your money on, Cobra?
But I may have gotten a DNF on one of the reports. I don't care. I crossed the line, okay? I crossed the line last in both my pro heats, but I had, you know, some unfortunate circumstances, and that's me in competition, apparently. And, you know, maybe third time's charm. No, it was fun and exciting. We get to hang out for the rest of the day and nurse some injuries and scrapes and watch the pro heat and the pro finals and the sportsman finals and the novice finals.
They were fun. The sportsman and the pro class finals especially were really fun to watch.
The sportsman was exciting, and the pro was almost scary to the point where it's like, guys, stand back. Like, this is this is a true competition at this point. Like, this might get gnarly. And then everything just happened so quickly. It was just suddenly over.
Yeah, it was really weird that it just ended, because it's one of those events that you're like super sad when it ends because you just want it to keep going for the entire week, but it just ended.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I guess that's it. Time to go home.
Yeah, our flight wasn't that night. It was the next day, so we had a nice Airbnb that night. We had a nice night's sleep and hung out with the Amped people at the Amped house.
Yes.
That was really nice.
Yeah, super nice to hang out with Liv and actually properly meet Corey,
Yeah.
the balloon guy.
Yeah, he's really fun. And Seth and Nick and the whole crew there, so that was nice. So, yeah, I feel like it was another one of those things that I've learned so much, and you know, everything's going to change because of it.
Yeah. I think we've got a new perspective on how to build our own tracks at home.
Yeah.
How to help people get better at racing too.
Yeah.
How to help people get to these events.
Mm-hmm.
and how to be better racers ourselves.
Yeah, very true. But we didn't get there alone. We had some sponsors to help us along the way. But in no order of any importance, we've got Ride One, who helped us out, Kinetic DL, very famous for the Performance One shoe, and we have Underground Customs, who's Seb in our community, and of course Exway Canada and Exway proper, like Exway HQ in China, helped us tremendously throughout the way to get us our race admission and the boards, and just facilitate the logistics of being a part of a race team.
Also sending us Andy to help us with anything we needed, any bits that we would break, he was there on hand to fix them. He hooked us up with bearings and whatever we needed.
He was worried about like our air pressure, and he goes, well, let me check all of your air pressure before your race. Let's ensure that we go over these things, and he just made sure that we felt comfortable, and it was great to have that. Not every team had that. So anyway, that was quite the experience, and going to Esk8con 2024 seems like a given.
We have Amped coming up as well in October.
Yes, we do. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully there's some skate stuff there this year, but if not, he'll be there on EUC.
You didn't hear it first here. That's for sure. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
She does all the work. She's great. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching.
Peace.
Hey. Team.
Hey.